Congratulations, dear student, for successfully completing the entire course, which was composed of video lectures, quizzes, assignments, and module tests. I am really happy and proud for your success. This section challenges all that you have learned in this course. You have to create a final project. The aim of this project is to build a complete assembly of a single cylinder engine after solid modeling all its individual components. You are given a document which contains all the details of the assembly, including the drawings of the individual component, which is this. You can see here, this is the first page, which contains the bill of material for the entire assembly. There are 10 variety of parts associated with this assembly, and you can see the respective quantities that are being used in this assembly. You have already created this oil pan during your assignment after the part design workbench module. You can use that model here. You have to create the other models, and as you move further in the document, you can see this is the exploded view of the assembly. This body I have cut it into half section, and also this body I have cut into half section so that you can visualize better. These are the assembly offset conditions. You can see this is the piston and this is the connecting rod. Between them there is a gap of 5 mm. So this offset value you have to give so that it will be constrained. Similarly here, between this connecting rod and this crankshaft, this is the crankshaft and this is the connecting rod, between them there is a distance which you have to give, which is 2 mm. From this face to the face of this crankshaft, you have to give a distance of 2 mm so that it will be constrained. So these are the basic assembly offset conditions. Now you can see in the next page I have mentioned a bit in more details about this assembly conditions. So it's quite details, but still if you have any issues you can get back to me and I will be happy to resolve. This is the very first component, which is the engine block. This is the main component. This is actually what you have to create, and this is the section view. So this is exactly what we want. You can see you have to study this drawing and you have to create this solid model. I'll give you some hints on this, don't worry. This is the second part, which is the bolt for oil pan. The third part, which is the piston. This is the connecting rod, bolt for the connecting rod, and this is the oil pan that already you have created. This is the nut, and this is the crankshaft, which is the last part. So you have to create all these parts and assemble them to finally create our assembly, which is this. Let us see the assembly first. You can see here, this is the assembly that we want. Of course, as already I have told you, this I have sectioned it so that you can see the interior parts, but when you make it should be complete closed. Then only you can answer the questions that is attached with this final project. You can see. You have to use a single bolt and assemble in all the holes. You need not make multiple bolts. And similar is the case for this nut. Still, if you are having any issues, you can get back to me. let's see the exploded view. You can see this is the exploded view. All these bolts will enter inside these holes and the nut will be tightened. So this bolt and nut assembly is basically to assemble this engine block with the oil pan. First, we can take this as the base part and then we can start assembling all the other parts onto this. Then it will be easier. But there are some tricks involved which you have to research and find out. It's better if you do this on your own. But still, if you have any issues, of course, I am there to help you by giving some hints. Ultimately, you have to do the project yourself, so that not only you will complete the course by completing this project, but also you will have a experience on handling industrial projects. Now, there is a part which requires some drawing study, which is this part, engine block. So let us move over to the drawing. I'll open the document, which is this, and this is the engine block. You can see the drawing may seem to be complex, but it's quite easy. Let me just show you how I have made this. Then you can understand the drawing. You can see here, this is the engine block that you have to create. The model is quite simple, but the drawing study is important. You can see this is the model that we have to create. Here it is composed of a section. You can see this is the section. First you have to create this section and you'll use pad to develop this lower portion, and then this upper portion is composed of this section. You can see this is the section. So create this section and you can construct this upper portion. And the other portion is this area where it is getting bolted. So that is actually defined here. These are all the holes and these are the various dimensions of the holes. Here this is the overall dimension of the flange. So when you minutely study the drawing, you will not only gain knowledge on how to study the drawings, but at a single glance it may be difficult for you to understand this drawing, but it is quite easy. Just give some time to the drawing, and once you see the drawing in details for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you will get an idea actually what has been given and relate the dimensions to the feature. For your convenience, I have given this cross section and also this isometric view of the total solid body. So you just have to relate the features of this solid body with the drawing. So as I have already told you, first you have to create this section from this view, and then you have to create this section from this view at a height of, you can see here, 117.5 plus 152.5. So at this height you will create this particular section and you will move down by using pad. It will create a solid body, and then go for cutting of these internal sections. Don't worry, I am there for you. If you require any help in developing the model for this and the drawing study, you can get back to me with your doubts and I'll solve it. So what I would suggest is, go for making the small parts first, so that you will get an confidence on building the final project, and then at the last go for making this, and finally go for the assembly. If you have any doubts in giving constraint